for making the Morning Drift your choice this morning. And a date of its own kind. Someone challenged me yesterday and said, we might never see a date like this ever again. It is the second of the second month of the year 2022. Did you even realize that? Now take a look at your calendars, take a look at your phone, and I think those figures there look absolutely unique and amazing. It is 2/2/2022. All right, what does this date mean to you? Could it be your lucky day? Could it be one of those days that you will never forget? Is it one of those things you write, dear diary, on this specific beautiful day, 1, 2, 3 things happened? I hope that we will feature in that journal. I hope that Look Up TV will be a changing sport for you on this unique day, the second day of the second month of the year 2022. Well, my name is Anki Doris Sambat, and there is so much lined up for you this morning, including an amazing conversation with one of the authorities when it comes to road safety, and that is NTSA. If you have any questions on the progress that we are having on infrastructure, today is the day. The morning is this morning. Now also remember, we'll cover what's going on the roads. How is Thika Road this morning? How is Jogoo Road this morning? Mombasa Road, I hear you are the most patient drivers. Is it as crazy as it's been in the past few days on Mombasa Road? How is it this morning around GM? Utawala, Wayaki Way. Even if you're traveling and you're probably on one of those highways, Watu wa Nyeri, how is it? Nyahururu, Edgar, good morning. Please let me know how your respective counties are this morning. The cities, Nakuru City, of course. How is it? Do you experience traffic in Nakuru City? Kisumu City, good morning. How is the traffic this morning? Also, watu wa Mombasani, habari za asubuhi. Kuna kavipi huko Mombasani? Kuna traffic, pengine feri imetoka. How are you? And of course, those who are using, the trains, Ruiru, Mtindwa stage. How is the capacity right now? How is the engagement with the, service providers as we're speaking this morning? We also have an amazing conversation. A lot of people shy away from it. Reproductive health among the youth. And now we're thinking, should we make it reproductive health all the way from 9 years? Somebody whispered in my ear through research the other day that the youngest mother in Kenya as we're speaking is 9 years old. Well, I don't know. Did we get to any argument when it came to the sexual education and consent when it comes to beginning this education with our young girls? Is it 16 years old? Do you still prefer that it's 18? Are you still thinking about lowering it, or do you have your own, sentiments on this? But are we talking about reproductive health? Someone also told me they had a Q&A on Instagram, and they asked people if they have checked their status or if they know the last person who infected them with the virus. And the answers, some people gave answers, I don't know who infected me. And there was uproar on social media. How do you not know who infected you? Well, let's have this conversation when we get into the big conversation this morning. So I'm telling you for sure, it's going to be top, it's going to be hot, and let alone all these other conversations. On the culture umbrella today, 3 gentlemen are fusing heritage, traditional music with contemporary music. And ladies, I can tell you for sure, you need to grab yourself some numbers this morning. All right, let's begin the show. A great shout out to my team that have made this happen so early, all the way from the driver, the guard, the director, the productions manager, the floor managers. All of you are amazing. Now, my name is Anki Doris Sambat. Rush to the social media. We are hashtag The Morning Drift on Twitter. We are live on Facebook. Look Up TV. Give your comments, hashtag The Morning Drift, and let's do this together. Remember, it's the second of the second month of the year 2022. If you did not record this date, well, I don't know, but I gave you something to, flex about. You know something. Let's do this. Good morning, all the way to 10 a.m. Well, it is a beautiful Wednesday morning. It is the 2nd of February, the year 2022. And it is just 40 minutes past 6 a.m. It is important that you're aware about what is going on in the country across all platforms. And I'm talking about politicians, economic status quo, looking at education, business, among other things. Remember, this is from our news desk, and most of these stories are developing across the day. So catch the developments later on in our subsequent bulletins at 1 p.m., 4, 7, and 9 p.m. respectively. Now, topping this morning, however, is the political scene and politicians who, in one way or another, might or will not be cleared by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. The Watchdog Commission terming the move as mechanism to tame hate speech ahead of August polls. Now, their remarks coming in the wake of a heated political exchange between Azimio la Umoja bigwigs and Kenya Kwanza Alliance.
Are we not going to have
Politicians who will be on the NCIC red list will not be clear to vie for various political seats in the August polls. This is the stern warning made by the Hate Speech Watchdog Commission. The Reverend Samuel Kobia-led commission claimed that senior politicians' names will be missing from the ballot paper following cases of incitement and hate speech during campaigns.
We are also working very, very closely with EACC to ensure that politicians who do not abide by the values of cohesion, politicians who are not preaching peace or who are dividing Kenyans along ethnic lines, do not see the ballot.
On her part, NCIC Vice Chairperson Wambui Nyutu insists investigations are ongoing on certain politicians.
We have already bought devices that are being used to record speeches of politicians in all the rallies. We have our people on the ground in every political rally, every big and small political rally in this country. We have our officers on the ground to ensure that, number one, they deter politicians, because once they know that there's an officer from NCIC there, they will tame their tongues. And also, in the event that the politicians do not tame their tongues, these devices will record the speeches of politicians, and we will use and preserve this evidence for use in court.
The move comes a couple of weeks after some politicians were summoned and recorded statements, while others have already been charged in court.
As a business community, we really are concerned about the business continuity, that even as we do elections, as we elect new leaders, as we transition to a new government, that businesses can continue.
And what we are asking the politicians, kindly, if you can, before you talk, when you see a microphone can make or unmake us. Please take time to think through your message. Don't speak when you are bitter.
Cases of hate speech among politicians have been on the rise in the recent days, with politicians being called to order not to plunge the country into post-election violence. Brian Amwai, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Now, even as that happens in the world of politics, a family in Kandundu village in Kiharu constituency, Murang'a County, is crying for justice after one of their family members was attacked and killed by unknown persons. According to Joseph Wanyoike, the deceased son, who was also injured during the incident, they were attacked on Sunday night by a person who introduced himself as a police officer.
The family of Joseph Wanyoike is mourning the demise of their matriarch after a man who identified himself as a police officer attacked her with a blunt object, leading to her death.
Sisi kama familia tunahuzunika kwa sababu dada yangu tuliambiwa alishida kwa kanisa na kutoka kwa kanisa alitoka karudi kwake. Sasa kilio yetu ni kusema ama tunaweza pata haki kutoka kwa dada yetu kwa wale wamefanya kitendo kama hiyo kwa serikali.
It is an attack that also left Wanyoike unconscious for about an hour.
Alafu kutoka hapo akaenda attack my mom, of which kutoka hapo nikaita majirani wangu wakampeleka hospital, and unluckily she didn't make it.
The neighbors who ferried the deceased to the hospital said that they never heard any commotion or sound during the attack of the deceased and her son.
Alikuja akatukuta, akatuambia mamake amejeruhiwa, ni mbaya sana, tukuje tumpeleke hospitali. Tukakuja tukampata akiwa hali mbaya.
Kandundu residents decried the rise in insecurity in the area, where in the past only minor thefts were heard of, but after this attack are left worried.
Tungetaka kuuliza security iwe ikitusaidia sana katika hiki kijiji chetu cha Kadudu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba hii kitendo tunakikemea sana, kwa sababu ni kitendo kibaya ambayo kimehuzuniza hii jiji lote la Kadudu.
Murang'a County Police Commander Donathan Kiplangat has assured the family that investigations are underway and that they are in search of the attacker who fled the scene with the deceased's phone.
Polisi wanaofanya uchunguzi huo ni wale wa DCI, yani maafisa wa upelelezi.
Deborah Mukeni, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Now, to the same, or rather in the same light, the officer, a 9-year veteran of the force, was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head in his house, according to police sources. Now, the cop is believed to be the third officer to commit suicide this year. And in 2021, 10 cops, or rather you say police, took their own lives, which was double the rate of the past years. And here's this particular story in detail.
Hatuwezi kuwa na sababu kamili kwa sababu hatuwezi jua aliyefikiria nini. However, amekuwa na shida ndogo ndogo za kutoingia kazi, mara ameshindwa na ulevi kidogo. Nafikiri mambo kama hayo imechangia yeye kuchukua maisha yake. Kwa muda ya miezi 4 iliyopita hajakuwa akifanya kazi kwa njia mzuri, na hali ya nidhamu ilikuwa ichukuliwe kuhusu utenda kazi wake, na ilikuwa inaendelea na ilikuwa imekamilika. Nafikiri hakufurahia alivyoambiwa kwa sababu haikuwa vizuri kwake. Nafikiri hakufurahi, na ilikuwa kuna namna nyingine, nature of duty must follow, procedures ya kazi lazima ingefuatwa. So I think he was angered by the proceedings. He wasn't happy about it, and maybe that is why he took his life.
All right, now we go back to matters politics, and signs indicate that the new Kenya Kwanza political outfit may run into headwinds as it tries to consolidate on who is fit to fly the party in ticket in Nairobi gubernatorial race. Now, the recent one being the bickering between Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. The two Nairobi gubernatorial hopefuls were seen exchanging hurtful words in a rally, and Calvin Kodalo has this report in detail.
During the outfit's first foray into the capital city, tension was witnessed between two city politicians, Johnson Sakaja and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru.
Asante. Wacheni hiyo mchezo bana. Wacheni hiyo mchezo. Relax. Kila mtu ambaye anazungumza.
The two candidates are vying for the Nairobi County Governor's seat, with Sakaja coming from the Mudavadi wing of Kenya Kwanza Alliance and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru from the UDA wing.
Si mimi ni mtetezi. Nataka mkumbuke mahali tumetoka, ndio muelewe mahali tunapoenda. Munajua ni nani anajali maslahi yenu.
Jujina Super Senator Sakaja ilikuwa S. Tubadilishe S moja. Tubadilishe gani? Super ama Sakaja ama Senator? Tubadilishe gani? Ikuwe nini?
With Ruto away, ANC and Ford Kenya leaders Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi led Kenya Kwanza's campaigns in the city.
Hii ni team ambayo tunataka tufahamu kwamba mimi nikiwa kwa safari, mchezo unaendelea. Ruto akiwa kwa safari, mchezo unaendelea. Weta akiwa kwa safari, mchezo unaendelea. Gachagua akiwa...
Tunakuheshimu as our president, tutakuheshimu as our former president. Leave Raila alone. Sisi tunamjua, tumetembea na yeye, tunamuelewa, tulifanya kazi na yeye. Hakuna mtu Raila hajakanyaga Kenya hii Alikanyaga Uhuru, akakanyaga Ruto, akakanyaga Kalonzo, akakanyaga Weta, akakanyaga Musalia. Sasa amerudia ile mkono.
The ANC leader attacked President Kenyatta's regime, accusing it of economic mismanagement and wrong priorities.
Kwamba kwa hii project Azimio, kwa huu mradi wa Azimio, serikali ilitumia pesa gani na ni bunge gani ilipitisha kwamba hizo pesa za Azimio zitumike na ni pesa za wananchi ambao wanalipa ushuru. Jamaa, serikali inafuliza kule juu. Madeni ya serikali yamezidi. Yanafuliza kule juu. Wakati huu
Mudavadi has recently stated that the issue of who will be Kenya Kwanza's flag bearer is not a major issue for them at the moment.
Na kwa Waluya tunasema mara hii ni vindu wechechanga.
Calvin Kodalo, Look Up TV.
All right, now in a bid to woo voters in Nyandarua County, the Azimio la Umoja officials once again hit their political opponents, insisting they should not vote for leaders who have insulted their own. Their remarks come a few days after Deputy President William Ruto used almost the same remarks.
But commit yourself from here.
Once again, Azimio la Umoja Brigade used their Nyandarua campaigns to comp for votes ahead of August polls. The leaders using their platform to hate out at their political opponents.
Tena maeneo yenu watu wamekuja kutukana kiongozi wenu na nyinyi mnasherehekea.
Na tuseme ya kwamba sisi tumechukuliwa ujinga na wale wanazunguka huku wakitusi ndugu yako rais. Tuwaweke kwa notice.
Anatembea na Gachagua, anatembea na yule mwingine anaitwa nani, Ndindi Nyoro. Wale ndio wanatumia kutusi rais wa taifa.
Ruto's allies had recently dared President Uhuru Kenyatta to explain the causes of arrest facing Mount Kenya leaders allied to the Deputy President William Ruto during his upcoming Mount Kenya tour.
Akisema anakuja kutuambia walikosania wapi na ndugu yake William Ruto. Mimi nauliza rais wetu kwa unyenyekevu, ukikuja kutueleza hiyo maneno, kuja pia utuambie sisi watu wa Mlima Kenya tulikukosea wapi? Tulikupea kura mingi, lakini DCI ikishika watu tunaona ni watu wa Mlima Kenya. Kama ni KRA inafuata watu, tunaona ni watu wa Mlima Kenya. Kama ni watu unavuta kazi kura mbunge, tunaona ni watu wa Mlima Kenya. Rais wetu tulikukosea wapi?
Odinga has however urged Nyandarua resident to back his presidential bid.
Tutaweka hazina ambayo hawale majamii ambao watakuwa hawana mapato yoyote, kila mwezi watakuwa napata kutoka kwa serikali shilingi 6,000. Unaunga mkono? Unaunga mkono?
The ODM chief is expected to tour Kajiado County on Wednesday. Shadrack Kareria, Look Up TV.
Together and feel all right.
And now to legislative matters. The Parliament is back to business following the approval of the contentious names to reconstitute the House Business Committee. Deputy President William Ruto, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula allies kept off the sitting.
So, honorable members, it appears to the Speaker that and the mood in the House is that the Speaker puts the question on this motion. I proceed to do as the House directs, because I'm its servant. Pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 171, subsection 1, is paragraph F, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the House Business Committee, in addition to those specified under paragraphs A, B, C, D, and E, namely, the Honorable Joyce Akai Emaniko, MP, the Honorable Shadrack John Mose, MP, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, MP, the Honorable Mohammed Abdulkahim Osman MP, the Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu MP, the Honorable Mishi Juma Hamisi Boko MP, the Honorable Godfrey Osoti MP. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The ayes have it, Honorable Sankok. The ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Let me know on our social media platforms what you think of the resuming or the resumption of the parliament. As we're speaking, the legislative arm of the government is taking shape again, and you want to understand what your perspectives are and sentiments on that particular story. We are Lookup TV. We're streaming live on Facebook and also on Twitter, #TheMorningDrift. And now to the judiciary matters. 4 police officers and a club owner committed to murder trial by a Kakamega court have filed an appeal challenging the sentence. The 5 are accused of Raymond Mulanda's death in 2019.
Duncan Wafula, Francis Kaimit, Juma Musa and Dennis Rosanna are accused of killing 40-year-old Raymond Mulanda on 16th December 2019 by inflicting injuries on his head and private parts.
Mimi niliwacha na watoto wawili, watoto wangali wachanga, na mume wangu Raymond mwenye alikuwa anatusaidia. Sasa nilibaki mjane, sina kazi na watoto wananihitaji hapo. Maisha imekuwa ngumu. Naenda alikuwa anatutafutia. Mimi naomba serikali tusaidie, haki ichukuliwe.
Judge Musyoka is expected to deliver his final verdict on March 2nd this year after the father to the late Robert Lubanga asked to be included in the case.
All we want is justice for my brother because the circumstances to his sudden and brutal death are very compelling, and we expect that justice will be served. We have confidence in the court so far, and we're looking forward to this trial to the very end.
Cecilia Lubanga, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Well, that particular story is developing. Catch the immediate and accurate developments of that particular story, which is stamped the judiciary on the spot, later on in our subsequent bulletins and also on our social media platforms. Please keep tab with us across all social media platforms. Let's take a look at agriculture and business. And of course, more than 1,000 farmers have been trained on dairy feed formulation using the locally available raw materials so that they have a more pocket-friendly alternative for animal feed. Agriculture extension officers and animal feed manufacturers are among the beneficiaries in Molo sub-county.
Feeds are very expensive. Dairy meal, as we speak now, is almost unaffordable. What will cost to produce a liter of milk, you'll find you get very little. You supplement it by probably, I don't know, income from elsewhere. Processors are not giving us value for our milk. You keep cows just to be seen to be having cows. You should be able to produce enough, get enough milk to run, and then have some balance.
Needed per day. One of the challenges that we are trying to address is on feeds. So farmers have been trained on on-farm feed formulation. They've been also trained on fodder establishment, fodder conservation, and also on silage making. We are saying farming unusual, yes, so that the farmers know that even farming is business. Don't want farmers to treat farming is just like an alternative way of living.
All right, now let's take a look at matters sports, culture and heritage. And the Sports Cabinet Secretary, Amina Mohammed, has vowed to weed out cartels in the sports sector. The soft-spoken CS declaring that all outstanding debts owed to the sports federations in Kenya will be cleared soon. Now, the sports fund was expected to be the magic bullet that would solve the financial problems that bedeviled the sports federations in Kenya, but it has so far proved to be a double-edged sword.
Pamoja tukikubaliana tunaweza kufanya kazi pamoja, tuweke zile sharti ambazo zinahitajika hapa nchini lakini pia ulimwenguni, kuwawezesha wale ambao ni practitioners waweze kuendeleza hiyo kazi wakijua kwamba ile dhamani ambayo inayo inaweza kutumika na kwamba hizi products ambazo wanazo itazalisha faida fulani. Kama mnavyojua kuna sheria ambayo iliundwa mwaka wa 2016 ambayo mpaka leo tunajaribu kuioperationalize. Kwa hivyo baada ya mkutano huu nafikiri tutaanza kazi kwa kasi zaidi.
I want to inform you that we are quite advanced in preparing a draft bill on traditional medicine. This bill is still in the initial stages of formulation within the ministry, where we're looking at it, providing the inputs. Very soon we shall be taking this bill out for public participation, stakeholder participation. And this bill aims to now allow the practice of traditional medicine. It will put in place a legal framework for traditional practitioners and how they will be regulated, how they will be, I heard people say about training, how they will be trained properly so that they produce their products in a manner that is compliant with international standards.
All right, in the same spirit and light, it is good news for the vulnerable Kenyan youth who are planning to make an impact in the society. This is after the Deputy British High Commissioner and the Chief Administrative Secretary of ICT, Maureen Barker, threw their weight behind the Kazi kwa Vijana initiative that gives young people a chance to explore their capabilities. Here is the story in detail.
Choices. They're confronted with choices every day. Part of this program is the mentorship to help them understand themselves, understand what's motivating their choices, and to help them make the right kind of choices which will lead them on a kind of better path. This is one of the many programs that, the UK-Kenya partnership is very, very broad, where we partner with Kenya in an enormous number of fields. So this program is it will continue to run, and we're always looking at how we can make it better, how we can make sure that what we're doing is the most useful and constructive engagement we can have to work with the government of Kenya, civil society, to ensure that we are playing a positive contribution. So today we were getting a lot of feedback from the young people themselves about how can they really understand.
This is why we are here today. This is one of the initiatives we are taking, or steps we are taking, by coming to the table to such initiatives to ensure that we find out about these challenges and how to tackle them as the government. These are some of the ways that we are aiming to assist these young people. And today even as I spoke to the young people, I urged them to take advantage of the opportunities that the government has in place for them. And I was glad to hear that some of the young people here faced some challenges at the beginning, and they then came to find out about a program such as Kazi Mtaani, such as the Youth Fund, and they were able to take advantage of these opportunities and actually lift themselves out of a hard spot. So these are some of the ways that we try to reach out to young people.
Well, that's it for the news updates from our news desk this morning. It is still really early, and I hope that you will catch developments of each of those stories later on in our subsequent bulletins at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 7 and 9 p.m. However, let's take a look at the situation in the country when it comes to COVID-19. Remember to follow the Ministry of Health as well across all social media platforms for the updates they give daily. Of course, when they do test, the sample size is tested, and they give the accurate of new cases, positivity rate, where we stand at, recoveries, and fatalities. And as at yesterday, the 1st of February, the year 2022, a sample size of 6,137 Kenyans were tested. And according to the report by the Ministry of Health, the new cases now are at 171 as at yesterday in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are seeing the positivity rate in the country standing at 2.8% as at yesterday. Also, we have recoveries, which is something we celebrate, appreciating all those on the forefront, including you and I. Now we have recoveries, 137 as at yesterday. And unfortunately, we lost 4 Kenyan lives to the pandemic yesterday. There'll be more updates later on today if you keep tabs with the Ministry of Health on Twitter and on other social media platforms. And just to, of course, share with you the cases that are, the counties that are topping when it still comes to COVID-19. Nairobi is still leading with the highest number of cases, new cases per county. Uasin Gishu now following closely at number 2 as at yesterday. Siaya County doesn't look very good, coming in at number 3. Nakuru County is also, showing a lot of increased cases of COVID-19. Bomet is at number 5 with the release from the MOH yesterday. Kakamega County is at number 7 in regards to the number of cases of COVID-19 per county. We have Garissa coming in closely, Homa Bay and Kisumu County. These are the top 10 counties that have recorded the highest numbers of COVID-19 as at yesterday. Now, it is my job to remind you back at home to do what you have to do. Wash your hands. Still, do not forget to wash your hands. Wear your masks properly, and of course, respect that social distancing. And are you vaccinated? Are you fully vaccinated? If you're not, why are you not vaccinated? Remember now, the release is that we have teenagers now being allowed to take the dosage, the first vaccine. Are parents aware of that? Are you okay with that? Let us know on our social media platforms at Lookup TV what your sentiments are in regards to COVID-19, the pandemic, and the initiatives. As we speak to the NTSA representative this morning, I will say that for now, we will ask what the vehicles are doing, the PSVs, if they are really taking it seriously when it comes to COVID-19. Are Kenyans reluctant now? All right, we'll ask those questions as we delve deeper into the Arrive Alive segment, but I want to appreciate your presence right here on the Morning Drift. My name is Anki Doris, but let's kickstart this morning show. Well, thank you very much for being part of the Morning Drift. It is about that time where we delve deeper into why you should actually arrive alive. I think when we start our mornings, we have no choice but to arrive alive to whichever destination we are going to. Because when we leave our houses, we leave our loved ones. We leave our bosses when we're going back home. We all want to have that cycle moving, that routine moving, because that is what life is made up of. So how about we get those safety tips, of course, conversations going. Hashtag the Morning Drift, at Matri Roots, at Sikika Safety, at Star Labs, at Road Safety and Safe Driving Practices, at NTSA Kenya, at Kenha, among other handles that are doing amazing work when it comes to the routes and the roads that we have in the country. Now, where's the traffic at as we're speaking? Where are you watching me from? Is it in Bungoma, Kericho, Nyeri, Nairobi? Are you in Migori County? Are you in Kisumu? Are you in Kakamega, Mombasa, Vihiga, Wajir? Where are you watching us from? Kajiado, Narok, let us know if the roads are getting better, if the rains are affecting you, because there's a bit of drizzle here and there, and some places are actually experiencing downpour, which is very interesting, and that is something that will come about when it is climatic oriented. But let's take a look at the roads. How is Thika Road today? Mombasa Road, you've been singing a lot of songs in the past few days. There's been traffic from as early as 5 a.m. How is it this morning? But let's take a look at the first tweet that came to my page and to my timeline. This is Thika Road. This is Thika Road, very early in the morning. You can see that is really early in the morning. It's by 6:49 a.m. And someone was asking, that is at Peter Maina Tech. At Peter Maina Tech, good morning. How is it now? Earlier on, I think you woke up to, catch up with your schedule, but this is what you found. And the only thing he would say is, via Atma 3 Routes, why does Zimmerman do us like this? Why does it do you like this? Thika Road, why do the estates do you like this? Because when you're getting into Garden City or breaking into, those particular service lanes, this happens a lot on Thika Road. But as early as this time, why would you do us like this? That is at Peter Maina Tech, starting us off. And of course, we keep going on with Atma 3 Routes. Remember, this is a Twitter handle that keeps you on tabs and in the know on how the roads look like. At Kipkoech Slim, he's also speaking this morning, and he's saying Thika Road traffic jam already stretching from Roysambu all the way to Githurai 45 inbound. If I'm correct, Zimmerman and Roysambu, Kasarani, it's pretty much almost the same area. So it seems like that area is a bit of a mess this morning. And someone is responding to at Kipkoech, who is saying Thika Road traffic jam already stretching from Roysambu all the way to Githurai 45. And of course at Mwas Governor says kuna tracks mbili zimekwama hapo almost Roysambu. Service lane will work better. So well, it looks like there's an alternative. If you can use the service lane, let me know if that is possible. And of course, someone is saying here that is at Boniface at Anasi. He's saying ni kwa sababu watu wamepata salary. Is it true? If you're watching this morning, have you received your salary? One James Kenya, please let me know you use that road. Is it because, have you received your salary, James? And how was traffic when you were headed to work? Let's take a look at another response here. And Mwas Governor still reiterating, use the service lane to work better. There are two tracks that at 6:48 were stuck right there at Roysambu, causing a bit of a snarl up on Thika Road. While the situation on Thika Road at 6:47, I'm wondering where this place is at, because this seems to be moving. So it's just Roysambu, I suppose, because this driver, though he's actually using his phone to take a photo, NTSA project manager is here and he's following. I don't want to expose you, but he's saying situation on Thika Road at Kajoy 254. I hope the phone doesn't distract you, but thank you for giving us that update. So there are parts on Thika Road that are moving, and there are parts on Thika Road that have a bit of traffic, because I'm told if it were not for the two tracks, I think the entire Thika Road should be good. And of course, I'm being told here by Vincent Awange via Atma 3 Routes, by 6:44 a.m., there was a matatu that had rammed into a footbridge at Pangani. The police were on site by that time. How is the situation now at Pangani, where there was a matatu that had rammed into a footbridge? Were there any casualties as you were speaking? Because the matatu, I think most passengers use these matatus as early as very early, now that there's no curfew. What was the situation like as we, of course, continue to figure it out? There will be more updates on Mathri Route, including how exactly things are on the road, so please do follow. Today, Thika Road is really being highlighted. As early as 47 minutes ago, what Thika Road umeamua kutembea na mimi on Arrive Alive. Thank you very much for those updates via at Mathri Routes. At Benny Beats, nice handle. I like that handle. One Ben is also on the graphics. Good morning, Ben. You have a brother on Twitter. And he says by 6:30, the current situation on Thika Road looked like there was traffic. I don't know if you can see the lights. There's a lot of cars. Kenyans are hardworking, Mr. Musumba. Kenyans are hardworking, they need better roads. Mr. Musumba is on set already, and of course we appreciate that you take such pictures, but at what angle was this taken? This is somebody we need to see and find. So Benny Beats, thank you for that picture. But Thika Road, I can see that your traffic begins early, movement begins early. How is Mombasa Road, ladies and gentlemen? No one is talking about Mombasa Road this morning, but Namanga Road from Kitengela towards Shalom Hospital Underpass, traffic has been flowing nicely from 6:22 a.m. Thanks to Atmulwa Steve 2 for that update via Atma 3 Routes. Now, how is it now on Namanga Road from Kitengela towards Shalom Hospital Underpass? Earlier on, the traffic was moving okay. How is it now? So far, I think that's it. There's been a lot of Thika Road. Someone talking about the noise. We have gone through Himasa. Okay, what was happening? Wow. Wow. Okay. I had to do that so you can actually hear that. That is very early for Kenyans. And of course, at Jalango Replacer, said the kind of noise we have to go through Himasa, na ndio bado tufike tao saa 3 after Jam Mombasa Road. Well, that was at 6 a.m. So why would you leave Mombasa Road at 6 a.m. and get to town at 9 a.m.? Can you share that with me? What is the cause of the traffic jam that Kenyans consistently talk about on Mombasa Road? Can this be corrected? Because ultimately, Kenyans, you buy vehicles more than anyone that I know. And at 6:01 earlier on, someone says if you can avoid Wayaki Way, especially at night, it's a death ride. At Drizzy, he's saying it's a death ride to use Wayaki Way. Let's find out from our NTSA authority this morning why a Kenyan in his own country would say, I'm not using a particular road because it's a death ride. He didn't even say, he said especially at night. But why? Is it the vision? Is it the lighting? Is it the speed? Is it that we lack the traffic police on that road? Why would you say that Wayaki Way is a death ride, especially at night, and that fellow Kenyans should avoid it? Keep letting me know how the roads are this morning. We want to engage our authority on set and find out. When we spoke in 2021, we said there are a few things that need to be done. We said there are a few roads that ambush Kenyans at night. When they wake up, they see bombs. Maybe they don't understand why the constructions are at night. There are a few things we need to check now. We need to evaluate if there's progress. There was a campaign that was to begin that has been doing so well, Usalama Barabarani. But how far have we come? NTSA, thank you for joining us. Hashtag The Morning Drift. Keep the tweets coming. And on Facebook, Look Up TV. Your questions start right now and your responses are guaranteed. Welcome on set, Sir Howard.
Thank you. Faye Nangi. How are you?
I'm good.
Wow, looking good.
Thank you. You do as well.
Thank you.
And a lot of my guests have been saying Happy New Year, especially if we met last year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. You actually were here last year.
Yes, you were here last year.
December,
Yes.
yeah.
And we were good getting into the festivities.
Absolutely. And I think we cautioned Kenyans around that time because again it was raining, roads were slippery and all that. But the numbers we saw as at 31st December actually spoke on the things we were cautioning Kenyans against. Because at 31st December, we had lost 4,579 people. But that's cumulative from January to that time. But December alone, the month of December alone, 450. Not so good.
Not so good.
Despite the cautions that we'd given Kenyans.
Yeah, and I think like one of our experts usually say, in certain countries you lose 2 lives of that nationality, and it's disheartening. It's like news. It's breaking news.
Absolutely.
So losing the number of Kenyan lives we lose on the roads, that I think is even worse than disheartening.
Absolutely. But when we talk about these numbers, I mean, people don't seem to be taking this seriously. These are just not numbers. You know, numbers don't lie. Statistics don't lie. Okay. These are human beings. These are lives lost. So I would expect that any time we publish these numbers, that people will take them seriously. And if you look at the causes of these numbers, there are things we can manage, we can avoid. Just listening to you go through the the morning updates, and you see Kenyans are talking, and actually they're even giving solutions.
Yes.
You know, somebody says you can use a service lane.
Yes.
Maybe you need to wake up a little bit earlier than this. They're even aware that there's a lorry that has broken down somewhere at point A or B.
Or rammed into a footbridge.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what does that tell you? I mean, Kenyans are really aware of this. They know what they're supposed to do, but we're just not doing what we are supposed to do.
And even as we begin the conversation, I know it is a conversation and not an interview, and you're part of the conversation. We need to introduce you officially.
Thank you.
For those who do not know him, this is Mr. Samuel Musumba, who is the Road Safety Strategies and County Coordination in Kenya. Some would also say he's the program's coordinator, he's the NTSA project manager, but all I know and all I honor is that he is representing NTSA this morning. So we really hope that your questions are streamed in, because finally you get to hear a voice again on the follow-up and the progress on what we've been talking about on road safety in regards to road safety infrastructure in Kenya, and of course that line of security. As we're speaking, we had a conversation yesterday with one Mr. David Kahara, who was talking to me about hawking. Yeah, and road safety. We're just starting from that note. We, of course, we're checking a lot in our checklist this morning. But let's start with the hawkers. And they're licensed to actually hawk, but we see them pretty much sharing the pedestrian paths with us, because people say they don't really have a place to put their businesses. I don't know if you've seen this as well, and that if you have noticed that there's a bit of a risk to all the stakeholders who use these roads, and I don't know your sentiments as we begin on that particular issue.
Yeah, the number of hawkers actually has kept increasing, I think, by day. Yeah. Most of the urban centers now. And even worrying now on major highways, yes. You'd see people in the middle of the road, around Machakos, Lolongos and all that, right in the middle of the road, even standing on a yellow line, quite risky. Well, as much as I would say it's okay, because they're looking for something to put on the table at the end of the day, because their lives are hard, things are tough and all that. But I would say it's risky. Okay. This need to plan well. And this goes into the urban planning people who are supposed to really take care of this. Are we able to do it better than the way we are doing it? Are we able to put them a place where, would access them, get these wares without really necessarily having to risk our lives in the middle of the road? I've seen hawkers even running after a vehicle, just to sell a mask, for example, running oblivious of the dangers that lie, that road. And sometimes they even do it at night when there is less visibility. The footbridges. So to me, it's about planning. How are we managing our urban planning systems? This goes to the county governments who are supposed to really take care of this. Designate areas where these guys can sell their wares and still get what they're getting, in the day. They don't have to run on the road like, so risky like that, and running after vehicles and all that in front of vehicles. It's crazy. It's quite crazy.
As I'm following, I'm looking at, because for the system to work, there is the NTSA, there's the urban planning, there's KENHA. These are very many bodies that need to sit down and reason. I don't know if this works with the authorities, because as you're saying, this is designated responsibility to the urban planning. As you're doing the footbridges as NTSA, are they involved? And this is what we are seeing, this is how we are structuring these roads, and this is what we feel you should do on your side, because there seems to be a disconnect.
Yeah. Yes. We would not construct infrastructure ourselves. That's left to the agencies that do that. KENHA, KURA, who are the technical people who do that. Of course, including the county governments also, because they also have engineers who look at all this. But as we plug in like a software, we look at now those design issues from a safety point of view. You have put up this infrastructure, then it's now costing life, for example. It's getting risky. So as now we come in, audit this kind of infrastructure, and we're able to advise the road agencies in terms of are they able to accommodate the other road users with this? Are they able to provide safety facilities and that? And I will tell you, Angie, what goes in the background there, that happens. There's a lot of discussions around all this. We would speak together with the engineers, would speak with the county governments on this and that. But the implementation bit of it, particularly now when it comes to enforcing that, I think that's where we have now the challenge. Because it's just a matter of enforcement. Just tell these guys, keep off the roads. That's it. Just keep off the footbridges. If you're found there, we'll arrest you. And you enforce it. Then give them alternatives. It will happen. I mean, We have been on these roads, even us enforcing, at one time we used to do pedestrian safety enforcement on these roads.
Yes.
And trust me, it works. People see you there, you control them and tell them, now don't cross from here, do your business the other side, and they'll obey that.
So the enforcers are...
Just the enforcers are the problem.
All right, let's just look at the feedback. We're coming back, we're just beginning, we're laying a foundation, but there's so much to check on, including a picture of NTSA that was trending the past few days of young pupils lined up near the road with reflective jackets, but they're right near the road. And a lot of road safety experts asked, hata NTSA hawajui road safety. That happened. And of course, we are going to put you on the spot as we're talking about this. But let me appreciate Selin Nyangere, who is speaking to us on Facebook, saying, good morning, tuned in for the morning drift. Thank you very much. Faith Kipchumba saying, good morning, good morning. And Will Njao say, good morning, my friend, tuko pamoja huku Chaka, Nyeri County, well represented. Good morning, Willie. Joy Mack saying, good morning, Anki. I'm ready for the good vibes today. Tuned from Nakuru. And Kahara M. David says, Happy New Year, Anki. Happy New Year once again. I got confused yesterday. The year is already old. Yes. The year is already old. James Kinywa saying, good morning, Anki. Good morning, James. How are you? And of course, we'll come to Edgar Handsome Wanyaururu. This man, today we are giving away reflective jackets, by the way.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
After this very short break. And of course, Edgar Wanyaururu, good morning. Now we're coming back with your questions shortly. Allow us to take a short breather. Do not go too far away. We also have giveaways. And for the first time, I would say NTSA is honoring the morning drift with some hampers to you back at home. So let us know if you're a motorcycle rider, if you're a cyclist, if you're just a passenger or pillion that needs a reflector jacket, etc. Be with us on Facebook for your hamper this morning. We'll be right back. You're watching The Morning Drift, hashtag The Morning Drift.
Is he allowed to talk about borders and this man? Can you include that in conversation?
Even the matatus?
Even, yeah.
And what is the appropriate horn?
Because the blinds to follow the names.
Someone meow.
Well, you're simply alerting the other person that, look, no, either not scaring and
Welcome back. You are watching Arrive Alive, and this is Look Up TV. Hashtag this morning is the Morning Drift. Now we're talking about just how far road safety. And as you can see on this beautiful table today, we have a lot of reflective jackets, which of course Mr. Samuel Musumba has specifically said is for cyclists. He will explain to me why it is for cyclists and why he chose this. You know, why NTSA is coming up now with reflective jackets specifically for the cyclists in Kenya. Welcome back on set, sir.
Thank you.
Kenyans are following and they have asked so many questions on Facebook. If you allow me, I will go straight to those questions and then we can continue the conversations. We also are giving away 5 of these, right, sir?
Yes. Today.
And in the order that we will agree with him on as we continue the conversation. We're also on Twitter at LookUpTV, so please be part of the conversation. Mr. David Kahara has asked something here, and he's asked me to please ask Mr. Musumba about the general public education, that is pedestrians, on the safe use of roads is still wanting, seriously. So people are not educated and not sensitized. And he says Usalama Barabarani is a good initiative, but not yet felt on the ground. So that's what he says. It's not yet felt on the ground. People are still not sensitized.
Oh,
yes.
Thanks, Kara, for that question. I agree with you that we still have so much to do in terms of creating this necessary awareness for particularly pedestrians. I know we began this campaign, Usalama Barabarani, and our target was really get to every vulnerable road user, the pedestrians, the children, the border guys. We're targeting that. Almost a year now into the program, as we speak. But I would say also there are also good things here and there. At least people now understand a few things here and there, but there's still so much to be done. But one thing I want to say is that when you look at pedestrians, people try to isolate pedestrians to look like they are a whole different people or road users, a group of road users. But ideally, all of us are pedestrians, one way or another. Angie, you're driving. I mean, you didn't get in here with your vehicle. Certainly, you walked up to up to the station. You left your car maybe somewhere else, you know. And we do that a lot. You go to a supermarket. Would you go in there with your car? No. You know, one way or another, you become a pedestrian. You will cross a street. You will walk from point A to B, from your house to the shop and all that. And so this knowledge will be across board, that anytime you interact with this information, you are a driver, yes, but think of it like, I should interpret this from a pedestrian point of view. So that when I get on that road I'm walking, I should be able to obey certain rules. But you don't throw this caution in the air, immediately you leave your car and you say, I'm not them. It shouldn't be like that. And so what we are doing is that it's general awareness that we are talking about here. Okay. Everybody, even those drivers, I mean, everybody who is using this road, because one way or another you'll become a pedestrian. So what should you do? Cross at points which are designated for you. Always look out for traffic, you know. If there's a traffic law enforcer there, please look at his signs. What is he telling you? So that you're able now to cross, safely. Importantly also, the time you're walking, is it visible enough for you to be seen? If not, then go this direction. Put on some reflective material, or even clothing, so that you are seen. We have seen cases where pedestrians actually walk on those roads when they are drunk. Drunk walking is also very risky. So how would you get drunk and you want to walk in the middle of the road? At the end of the day, you stand the chance of being, hit at some point. I know how drunkards walk actually on the road. They don't walk on the sides. I don't know, for whatever reason. But someone told me you are secure enough when you are right in the road. And they will walk right there in the road and stagger in the road. They feel like when they're right in the middle of the road, then the motorists can see them better. Maybe. Okay. And the other side is like, there's a black spot, maybe somebody may waylay me the other side, so let me walk here, I'm safer here. But it's not safe here. So this is a question to everybody. Let us not isolate pedestrians to look like they're totally different people from us. I mean, it's all of us. Okay. One way or another, we'll get to that road. We'll walk on that road. We leave our cars wherever they are. You alight from a matatu, I mean, you become a pedestrian immediately. So this information should be it's across board, all of us. And I know that, and I appreciate that that's a conversation that NTSA is now having, even as your campaign is Usalama Barabarani. But even in the driving schools, one of the experts who we hosted here earlier on mentioned how driving schools are driver-centered. We also touched on the curriculum last time you were here. And I don't know, is this something you want to incorporate in the awareness of what the pedestrian role is and how the drivers should actually treat the pedestrians? Because from what we get, the curriculum or the driving school curriculum in Kenya so far looks at the roundabouts, what the driver does, how to move the vehicle. But is this something that is inculcated in them through their driving schools? If you look at our curriculum, the new curriculum, yes, it's all encompassing. In fact, I always say this is the best curriculum I think we have. But anyway, we have never had any other anyway, so it's the first one and it's a very good one. There are topics there. And actually the first topic is road safety. Just before you start telling us about this is a vehicle, this is the parts of the vehicle, this is the way you're supposed to engage the first topic is road safety. And so we expect that the schools or the teachers in those schools should actually even go further, do even further research around it, read around it, and be able to start, from there. Okay. But where they're doing it, again, is another story. We understand some of the schools just go straight into this is the vehicle, let's go driving. There's a shortcut to the process. Okay. They want to get to the process so quickly, but we have defined this very well. If you look at the curriculum, it has even the hours for each lesson. And a lot of thought went into this. Experts looked at this. This best practice everywhere. Let these trainees learn something about safety. Don't be in a hurry to take them to the vehicle. They will get there, you know. And the way we have structured the curriculum, the practicals are there. You'll get the vehicle. But first things first. Let's get this basic about road safety first. Then from there, when this guy now starts becoming a driver, he understands that every action I'm taking is informed by road safety.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to be safe, you know. But it's something that maybe we need to look at, maybe visit some of these schools when they are actually teaching and see, you know, are they doing that.
So what you're telling us is we now need to shift from we need a better curriculum to now are we really using the curriculum, which you have said on set this morning is actually our first, and you've said it is probably the best.
True.
All right. Yes. Last time we spoke, I'm just catching up on the things we spoke about last time. You were talking about people who have not yet renewed their licenses. They are actually driving and they have not picked their DLs. How are Kenyans responding to this? There are also questions of eye testing as a measure or a step higher to actually renewing your driving license. How is it working right now with the driving license procedure?
I want to report and happily that I think that time we spoke, Kenyans really got to listen to us. We have seen the numbers increase by day, people coming to pick their DLs, and we are happy. And I want again to speak this morning again. Yes. For those who have not picked, please come to our offices. We have backlogs. DLs are just there. We have also sent some of these DLs to the Huduma centers.
Okay.
So if you can access a Huduma center anywhere, not necessarily having to come to our offices, please do that. And Huduma centers are spread all over the country. So walk in there, we have a desk there, you will get some direction from there, those who have not picked. But I'm so happy, Angie, that quite so many Kenyans have really picked. For those who are trying to renew their DLs, I know there are quite a number who are trying to renew and they're saying, oh, there's a delay of this and that. We apologize for that because there's been a bit of big numbers actually making applications and all that. So printing some of these documents sometimes takes a bit of time. And that's why we promise within 5 days, but sometimes you may get after a week or two. But just be patient with us because these are systems that sometimes are a bit slow.
Okay.
But we are working toward improving that efficiency and hoping that we can deliver your DL within just like 3 days. You know, you take your biometrics and please you come for your DL just within 3 days. Because that should be something that we...
Yeah, because there's a concern of the drivers we have on the roads who do have experience, a bit of the training, but do not have their driving license, and we're wondering, are they legal on the roads? You touched on pedestrians, and we spoke about insurance. And pedestrians now are taking center stage, but there is something about your personal cover that I want to hear your sentiments on, even if it is not in the matter of authority, but we'll come to that shortly. Allow me to ask a question here from Facebook, and James Kenya says, kindly ask Mr. Musumba, what plans are in place to regulate the Nduthi sector? How are wako so unruly?
Yeah, then do that's Boda Boda?
Yes, the Boda Boda
sure.
Yes, operators.
Boda Boda is a good sector. I should start from there. Look at the numbers that the sector has employed. All these youths, if today they were not doing what they're doing, I'm not sure we'll be safe, Angie, because I know they'll be idle and they can't do anything. But we are happy. But while that is there, it has attracted quite many of these youths who are untrained. Some are novice, underage. They're getting in there. So what we're doing as government is trying to reform this sector. In 2018, our CS did come up with a task force to reform this sector. The task force so far has released the report and we're working on that. Key among the things that we are implementing is training. Because if these guys don't have this knowledge, trust me, they will do all these things that you see. So but with the right training, then they're able to also improve on their attitude and their skills to even ride and all that. So we did launch a national countrywide training program.
All right.
Through the National Youth Service in Kiambu, Kajiado, and Machakos. And it has done so well. Through the NYS, the program is two-pronged. You are trained towards behavior change and also skills to get now your license and all that. It's really working very well. The uptake is perfect.
Okay.
We did subsidize part of the training.
Oh, yes.
But also the county governments also have chipped in to support these guys. We are now rolling it out countrywide. I think you must have heard our PA saying there'll be a whole 100 days, RRI program countrywide, so that everybody, every rider, takes up this training. So we are seeing hope that if all these guys will be trained, then we will not see a lot of these things happening. Importantly, also now, we are working towards registering all the riders in the country, and already we are doing that. I think now we are hitting almost a mark of 1 million, and we are so happy.
That sounds
from
good.
that local level where they operate from.
Okay.
Through the chiefs and the county commissioners, we are doing that. The essence of doing that is we want to build a data where we understand where the guys are operating from, but also importantly, push them into circles. They form circles. That's a structure that has worked in the PSV sector, and we just want to also align it to
the border
as well.
Yes.
Because when they're in that circle, in that group, then they're able to be controlled well. They can do their things also. They can manage themselves. The structure of leadership also comes out very clearly.
All right.
And I will tell you that we have quite a number of these guys who have come up with circles, and they're doing so well. I was in Nanyuki the other day. There's a circle there. And perhaps you should invite these guys to come around and tell you their success story. Do you know they have land? We bought these parcels of land that are now sharing plots among themselves. How do the riders? Are they different from the guys here? So how do you take it like, Mandu the rider, I'll do anything, I don't care. I mean, those guys are so careful. You go to Nanyuki and they know why, the value of that Ndudi.
All right.
And they're so well behaved. I mean, they're a success story. So we really want to work towards that and see, can we have many other groups also, emulating the same?
And as you're speaking, I just want to go back to the viewer, and for the first time, and I like that when we're speaking, the counties that are coming out, that are doing well, and if you're in Nanyuki, please just comment and let me know that what Mr. Musumba is saying is actually happening in Nanyuki. Are the border riders in Nanyuki more disciplined, more, organized? How is it right now in Nanyuki? Because as far as I'm concerned, Nairobi doesn't sound so good, Migori County doesn't sound so good, Kisumu County doesn't sound so good, among many other counties. But Nanyuki is standing out today. Of course, as we're hearing from NTSA's project manager, Mr. Musumba here, that the border operators are now having things happening for them, and it could be a better country. Sure. One last question before we go into the cycling and the roads you've been working on, because Kenyans are looking forward to understand what is the new infrastructure, what have you been doing, what are the new markings, where exactly, what is the bump being erected somewhere, with the new footbridge. We're coming to that shortly. James Kinywa says, what is the law governing the presenting of an online driving license to the traffic cops?
When
they pull you over.
Yes. Yeah, the law is very clear that you have, the police will ask you to produce a physical, DL.
So it has to be physical?
It has to be physical, but within, I think, 24 hours, you can do that. But also, they should also be considered in terms of, if you don't have it, can you prove that actually you are a certified driver? And we have enabled the police to check that through our app. They can actually confirm whether your license is valid or not. This is something that we have worked with the police very closely. And that's why you will see, sometimes they'll ask you that, but you can still say, wacha tuangalie kwa simu, I only need to see your ID card and key it in, and I'm able to know whether you have a valid license. All right. So that is, I think that is being allowed. So unless maybe the the viewer, I don't know whether he was harassed because of not producing the physical one.
Maybe we need to find out from him, because like we said, there are so many things put in place, but the implementation, there is a disconnect there. So please, James, let us know, is it working? Is the presentation of the online driving license working with the police, the traffic police, to be specific? Are they honoring that, upgrading? And we're hearing from the NTSA it's acceptable, and even from their application, you can verify. And it would be good to hear from the police as well. Are Kenyans cooperating? Because someone will say, I don't have data. Yeah, that is possible. So what happens when neither of them has data and they cannot access your app?
If the police don't have, at least you have data. I mean, you can you can actually key it in yourself and show him, like, look, but he needs to confirm with your DL. Is that your, your
ID number?
Is that your ID number? Then they're able to see that. So these are improved processes that you don't have to tie somebody on that road, give me a physical DL and all these kind of things. We're not in that business. It's facilitated Kenyans to move from one point to the other. Unless, the Kenyans who, when they're stopped and asked about DL, DL yako and all that, they start making noise. They even start abusing this officer. So sometimes when you hear somebody has actually been locked up for some time, it's sometimes also how we relate with this officer.
Okay.
He has stopped, he's asking for this. You don't just tell him, angalia, phone, that kind of thing. It's a bit also rude, And this guy may start harassing you and now demanding for, the physical deal and all that. But it depends on how you also talk to him and say, I'm working at home, but sir, we can check, we can verify with this.
I'm actually curious on how many Kenyans have this approach that sir, please verify this. But talk to us on social media. We are following closely. I want us to go back to, of course, he has responded. The viewer has responded and said, the cops said hawana data. Just the same thing I've said. I was harassed along Kasarani, Mwiki Road. Eventually, they claimed hawana smartphone.
No, I think that is a lie. Maybe those cops were out for something else, because honestly, who doesn't have a smartphone in this time and era, particularly if you are an officer? How else now do you verify the other things? How will you even verify that this number plate is legit, for example?
Okay.
The other day we were doing a crackdown on vehicles with foreign plates.
Oh yes,
and I'm telling you, what we found out was crazy. People have put funny plates on these vehicles, and they've never paid taxes. They've just been evading taxes here and there. It was so sad. I don't want to mention some of the names that we netted on that road. It was so sad. But how do you verify that if you don't have a smartphone? That information.
So here we're talking about the traffic police on the roads.
Absolutely.
The executive arm of government, the enforcers, and we are asking the government to, of course, come on board and just talk to us, and we would know why our officers don't have smartphones, why the officers, because that's their office, do not have data for that matter. Because then what we're hearing from the programs manager at NTSA this morning is that this is something they need to have. All right, now as we just wrapping up, we will get to more of your questions. Keep asking them on social media. There's still a lot being talked about the harassment that's going on the roads. As much as we're trying to make the system work, Kenyans seem a bit enraged, when it comes to how the enforcement is going on. Now we're giving this to 5 people, and maybe one should go to James Kenyo, for being very honest.
Sure.
I don't know how else you think we should give this away.
Any cyclists out there, I know there are quite a number of cyclists actually who go through hell on this road. Majority of the roads actually have cycling lanes.
Majority
of these roads. But if you look at what has happened, most of us drivers have occupied that space. Some roads, the markings have faded and that. So somebody will tell you, there's no marking here. I mean, there's no space for these guys.
Before you even continue, these are roads, the markings are faded, sir, and you're right here on set.
Yes.
they have faded therefore for so long that people assume we don't have cyclist lanes therefore. What is NTSA doing about those markings?
We've now begun a program with in conjunction with other stakeholders as well, non-government stakeholders. And I'm happy to mention some of the cyclists who have come, and we're working together to revive this, because these lanes are there.
All right.
The other day we were on Jogoo Road with the King Cyclist group, a group of cyclists. You know, Kenyans were surprised. Like, kumbe kuna line hapa, there's this space here. And we were able to demonstrate that this is space for the cyclist. Jogoo Road is among the leading roads with cyclists who are knocked on a daily basis on that road. As they come to industrial area and all that, a lot of guys actually do cycling.
Yes.
And so we were able to demonstrate that, and we marked all the way to City Stadium and along that road. I mean, people were amazed. They've actually taken over the space for the cyclists. We even saw hawkers, you know, selling wares right in those lanes, which is quite risky. But we are trying to now make this, create this awareness around those lanes. We're happy that NMS also came in through, and they're also now keen on marking all those lanes. So you'll be seeing a lot of these roads now, the lanes clearly marked now.
All right.
Yeah. The other thing now will be on how would Kenyans respect those lanes? It's something that we're really asking. Please respect those lanes. You don't need to see an enforcement officer before you respect that. If you are matatu guys, please pull at your designated places. You know, drop your passengers at places which are designated for you. Just don't go into that lane at all. And that's what that's the awareness now we're trying to raise among the Kenyans. Respect that. These guys are also road users like yourselves. They have a right of way. They're also going to work or different places. Please allow them to use that. You with your car, please use your lane. While we were marking on that road,
yes.
I remember there's a driver actually who came and rammed into the cones that we had put on that road. Who does that? And we asked him, I mean, can't you see these are cones? And you're seeing guys putting on reflector jackets, and you're coming running into us. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, who does that? And if you look at what he was actually trying to overlap.
Now that he found the authorities right there, I'm curious on, you've created the awareness and you're actually echoing and reiterating the same thing. Which side of the law will they find themselves on, and what law are they looking at? What are the penalties, and when will they not see you smile when they actually cross that law? Because you're saying, please respect this. You kept on saying, please respect this. Maybe they need to understand what penalty comes with it. Yes.
If you overlap and get into a lane that is not yours, that is in law, it's overlapping, it's learning discipline, and there's a fine to that. By the way, you can go in jail for 3 months, or pay a fine from 10,000 and over. That's in the law. So, and for us, we look at your deal again.
Okay.
Because you're showing us an element of incompetence. So you are you're a candidate for retraining and retesting. And you know what that means. Okay. So we may suspend your license for some time and tell you, go for a retest. Go for retraining at your own cost, and that's not easy.
Okay.
For the few drivers that have gone through our retest exams and all that, they can tell you it's not easy. It's not easy. So don't be found on that side. You can avoid that. Jogoo Road, is it a big road? No. But there's space for at least 2 vehicles, you can bypass each other. Forget about this lane.
And the question is, that is Jogoo Road. Which other roads are we looking at?
We are Ngong Road now. The contractor is now looking at also redesigning those lanes again, and that's going to be okay. We are also hoping that once these roads are done, Mombasa Road and Waiyaki Way, once they are done, if you look at the design, that space is there as well. So immediately the roads are done and finished, you'll see the markings. They're actually there. There are also roads that go into majority of these roads going to Eastlands,
Uh-huh, okay.
those areas. Those lanes are clearly marked. And by the way, this campaign is not stopping. We're going to mark all those roads in Eastlands as we await now the major roads to be completed.
Okay.
But for Eastlands, every weekend we're there. We'll be there.
Every weekend?
Yes, we're going to mark all those lanes until people get used to
Until people
this.
get used to it. I like the way you're patient with the Kenyans and you're saying until they get used to it. There are questions here. But remember, we're giving this away to cyclists. So if you're watching this morning and you're a cyclist, just get in touch with us on our social media platforms at Lookup TV on Twitter, hashtag The Morning Drift, and tell me why you need this. All right, the first 4 get these for your children, for your siblings, but what we need to actually achieve is your safety. Also, I remember we are giving this to one James Kenywa for being very honest. And as we continue, sir, there is an aspect still of the harassment. I don't think this will end. James Kenywa is being supported by one Joy Mark, who says, well, the only thing the cops do when they pull you over is get a hand check. Have you applied the Nairobi-Nakuru route? Too many police stopovers and demanding for that note.
Oh, well, it's unfortunate.
And he says harassment tupu.
Harassment tupu.
Yes.
Wow. Because one thing that Kenya should understand, the IG was very categorical in terms of the roadblocks. Okay. They were removed. We no longer have these spikes on the road and that, because they became toll stations at some point. You are stopped at every point and it just became a toll station. So what now was what now we have on the road are supposed to be traffic officers who should be looking at the offenses, the traffic offenses, okay, but not extorting Kenyans and all that. If you went to Nakuru, how many are they?
The Nairobi-Nakuru route. Yes.
I know Kangemi, they'll stop you. Towards what, Naivasha maybe, and all that. I have not encountered what he's talking about, but maybe I feel what he's saying. I don't know what they really asked him to do.
Maybe Joy Mark, you'd clarify that?
Exactly,
yes,
so that we also take action on this. Because once we get these complaints, when we sit in those forums with our counterparts, then we bring them out. I want to tell you, Angie, that, and the viewers who are watching us this morning, that we are now working towards reforming enforcement. Because that's the challenge of enforcement. Majority of Kenyans have complained. Until they even ask you, they don't even understand what the police are really doing. What is this? Because you stop a vehicle, you're speaking to anybody, you go around this vehicle, no namambia enda, because something has dropped down there, okay, or that kind of thing.
And Kenyans see that when they're in matatus?
Absolutely, they see that.
Yes.
So the police think that people are not seeing. People are seeing this. So when this has come up, the other day our CS actually has established a task force to look at enforcement. We're in that task force. The IG office is a multi-agency kind of task force.
Okay.
We are reforming that. We are looking at that enforcement. Right now we are collecting views from the public. Please give us what you think. This is some of the views that we need. Please feel free to drop us a line on our emails and all that. We want to reform this. These guys have to change, whether they like it or not.
Whether they like it.
Exactly, because we don't know what they're picking on that road. Like now, I'm sad. The viewer is saying it's total harassment. I don't know what that means, but I tend to feel like maybe they stopped him and they started asking, funny questions and all that. All the questions the officers should ask you they should be traffic-related questions. Do you have a DL, or you are speeding, or something. But just don't look at me and ask me for kitu kidogo, and I'm not, for no offense, honestly. So that's something that I know will be changing very soon. So please keep giving us your views.
All right, remember they are at NTSA Kenya on Twitter. And you can DM the authorities, you can reach out also to Mr. Samuel Musumba, if you can, in person. And he's saying there's an app and there is where you can leave your complaints as well. Real quick, I just want to ask one last question, or 2, 3 more from the viewers, which is very, very important on Facebook. Somebody says, do the cameras on our Kenyan roads work? Amma, how do the authorities plan to monitor these offenses due to the due to be fined. Yes.
Yeah,
Because even if I sue you in court, I need evidence.
Absolutely.
We also have crimes happening on the roads.
Absolutely.
People on the roads shoot you or steal from you, but the question is when the CCTVs are asked for evidence, Kenyans are now asking, do they really work? Yes.
For urban centers, yes, they're working. We had a program with Safaricom and where we put up those cameras on quite a number of roads, and they have really helped, trust me. For both crime and safety issues, those cameras have really worked. And including also cameras that people have fitted on their buildings and that.
Okay.
Trust me, they work. If you get that evidence, it really works. But on the major highways, we do not have cameras as yet. Maybe that is something. Maybe that's something we'll be looking at in future. What we have are the speed cameras, but again, they are handheld, speed cameras by officers who do that. Again, they have challenges because when it's raining, I may not be able to, put my camera on and get these pictures. At night also, they are not able to capture those images and all that. But maybe this is an area we, as a country, as roads are being done, maybe in future, we may invest in that kind of infrastructure.
I know Kenyans are not very satisfied with your tone when you say maybe, we'll consider this in future. And Kenyans would ask, where is the future at? We have Mr. Musumba right here, but he's saying maybe we might consider it, maybe in future. I know we'll have another conversation. Follow at NTSA as well and at Lookup TV, because we will be having you again to find out and put you in check when it comes to those cameras, and especially at night where crime is on the high. Alcohol blow, crackdowns and drunk driving. We're seeing a lot of accidents early morning. I see accidents on my way to work. And somebody has gone over there, someone has hit another person. They happen more at night, so it's quite a concern. And of course, Mr. Kahara is saying, we ask NTSA, please intervene on the, some would say LED lights, some would say LED lights. We are suffering at night from this menace. Also, car tinting needs to be regulated. That's his suggestion. He's saying tinting of windscreens and tail lights should be made illegal. And he's saying, thank you.
Actually, they're illegal. Ihara, in law, the things you mentioned are actually illegal. Because these are modifications. They're not manufacturers' provision of that vehicle. When you imported this vehicle or you bought this vehicle, by the way, if you look at what comes with that vehicle, simple things that work for you. Well fitted. Those lights are sufficient, very sufficient. You just, maybe if you have an issue of they're not very clear, you simply clean your lights, you replace them, but they're very, very sufficient. Why would you go and put in a LED light? Well, people say it's fancy, I want to. But it's not fancy at all.
It's actually illegal.
It is illegal, and it's a risk.
It's a risk, it's illegal, so you're a criminal on the road.
Those tints, it's illegal. I mean, these vehicles have their own tint, which is, you can actually see, Why would you put it so dark that we know all that? It's not right. The law is very clear on that.
All right.
It's very clear.
So if you have a tinted car that is beyond, comprehension, I would say that you are on the wrong side of the law. And of course, I can see at NTSA Kenya really retreating and following closely this conversation. Thank you for being supportive to the Arrive Alive. We're coming to the end of this segment, sir. We have appreciated the follow-up of what is being done. And we want to ask one last question, which was raised when we were looking at Mathiri. The segment has extended a little bit. I apologize for all those who are looking forward to the big conversation. And someone highlighted on Twitter, at Mathiri also, thank you very much, that Waiyaki Way is, suicidal. I will use the word that, if you want to use it at night. He did not say why, but he said by every means and any means avoid Waiyaki Way. What do you think? Where do you think this Kenyan is coming from?
I will tie it with Mombasa Road as well.
Okay.
Because of the construction that are going on now. This is a unique road. It's not a normal road. It's an express road that is being done up in the air. So what happens is that then there are pillars to hoist this road up there. As I said, it's a very unique road. So there's a lot of space in between here, and there are those pillars everywhere. They're not yet marked because the road is still under construction.
Okay.
So I just want to caution our viewer and the other viewers. These are roads under construction. Anytime you're on these roads, Mombasa Road and Waiyaki Way, please get that in your mind. Slow down. Be able just to watch out. Because now people are turning everywhere. Everywhere, U-turns are being done everywhere, anytime. If you drive along Mombasa Road at night, even late hours in the night, oh man, it's crazy. There are guys even who go on the opposite side, you know, of that road.
We saw a video, live along Mombasa Road. They are going the opposite side and the wrong side on Thika Road at a high speed. Did you see that video?
I saw that.
Did you respond to it?
We got the guy arrested, and
okay.
He was telling us he lost direction at some point, I don't know, entry, exit. And every time the other guys were telling him, wait, that is risky, get out of that road. He kept thinking these are thugs who want to hijack him.
So that's what he said.
That's what he said.
But you got him arrested?
We got him arrested because that is risky, even to his own life. So when you're on Waiyaki Way, Mombasa Road, please just know in your mind very clearly that this is a road under construction. It's not yet marked. These pillars are risky. It's not yet lit. The objects also falling from this construction. Just watch out. Be careful on that road. It's not a killer road anywhere.
It is the construction that I'm going. How about if I give you know, a recommendation of a better way, because I think somebody is traveling from somewhere else and not everyone has watched Arrive Alive, not everyone is following, which they should, and they have not had this word from you. Is there another way, another approach to ensure that Kenyans don't have to guess or just slow down? Slowing down is good, but is there a way that the NTSA can ensure that the place is, are there signages?
Okay. Yeah,
are there the red and white lines, ribbons?
Yeah, I know that has been lacking, just securing that site.
Yes.
The contractor, well, at some point he would secure, but then the road is, I think, almost 75% complete. So he has allowed, we've allowed people to use it, because again, we can't block traffic forever.
Okay.
So we've allowed passage of traffic, including Mombasa Road. Remember, the time we had locked up Mombasa Road, and it was crazy.
January.
It was hue and cry. People were saying, hey, you would allow us to go through that dust and just get home. When you provide alternative routes, people don't want to use the alternative routes, you know. So, yeah, maybe it's an area we need to talk to the contractors again, that maybe at night we'll just secure this place, make it more visible.
Yes, yes, please.
That people can be able to go through.
Yes.
That, yeah,
okay.
Point taken.
I think we will also follow up on that as well. Kenyans, let us know at Lookup TV, hashtag The Morning Drift, at Doris Anki, at NTSA Kenya. And as we wrap up, I have personally experienced this, and I want to, of course, wear this life jacket as I close, but vehicles are suddenly catching fire. Oh. I don't know if you're on social media. I don't know if Griffith, you have witnessed this, Edu, Sheila, anyone watching. Every time I'm in a PSV, for an example, the other lane is obstructed by a vehicle that smoke seems to be coming from inside. All right, or they're in a traffic, maybe to Ruiru or somewhere on Gong Road, and it's always PSVs, you know. They are lit from somewhere. Maybe I'm not, I've not been enlightened in that, just like any other viewer. I don't know if you've come across the vehicle suddenly catching fire lately on the highways and on the roads. What could it be?
It's kind of amazing, because how the vehicle catch fire. Mechanical issues, yes. Maybe the fuels you have and the way the engine is behaving and all that could lead to that. But it's rare.
It's rare?
It's quite rare. I saw a vehicle, not a matatu, I think the other day on, which road was that? It was on fire at night. And you wonder, really, some of these fires are self-made.
Okay.
Yeah, guys either want insurance this and that, and the other thing. They just put that fire. We saw a vehicle in a parking lot, I think on somewhere on Thika Road some time back. How will the vehicle on its own catch fire? In a parking, you parked your car out here, Angie, and it just catches fire. How?
That's the question.
Yeah. So while we may attribute it to some mechanical issues at some point, but majority of these fires are self-caused fires.
All right, I think we need to look into that.
Yeah.
Have another conversation around
Sure.
it. Why this year, mostly this year, and a bit, I think this year, January thereabout, we've seen you pass in the, you hear it out saying, Peter, hii gari inachomeka bana. Hapo kutakuwa na traffic kuja mapema. You know, it's become now a thing. You know, call hii gari ni kama inachomeka. But we appreciate, of course, the different handles that are making these conversations happen. At Maturity, we appreciate you. At Kenya, at Road Safety and Safe Driving, Mr. Worotet, we appreciate you. Mr. David Kahara, Karis Mugo, Wamuyu Kariuki, Chichi all the way in Zambia. Of course, Court Martial all the way from Canada. And we're hoping we could also have other authorities in other countries when we can now, of course, share notes on how far we're going as Kenya, as NTSA in implementing. And on the law enforcement, sir, you need to come back, talk about it, on the roads improvement, on the curriculum, and now on the motorcycling, the border operators, what you're doing as well. We hope we can have you back again. James Kinyo has appreciated and said, his younger brother is a cyclist, and he'll be glad to receive the reply.
Oh, here you are.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you so
much. And for the job you're doing. Please also bring Kenha along next time.
Oh, sure. Please,
the highway code is changing over time, and Kenyans do not understand it much. But just to close, I want to appreciate you and today make you a host for the light moment and ask you to close a segment for us.
Oh. Thank you.
With your last remark.
Oh, my last remark.
As a host.
Thank you. Yeah, may I take this opportunity once more again to thank Look Up TV for giving us this platform to speak to Kenyans about road safety. Indeed, road safety remains a challenge in this country. Looking at the numbers that we have lost lives on these roads, 4,579 is not a small number. And these are our friends, brothers, sisters, and relatives. So the honor is on all of us, because if you look at the causes of these incidences, it's just the way we behave on these roads. We are speeding, overlapping, we are drunk driving or riding, bullying everybody on that road, cyclists, we have lanes for them. Why would we want to go and occupy their space? We knock them out of their space. So again, our call to all Kenyans is, please, let's be respectful when we're on those roads, respect each other. A little courtesy won't hurt when we're on these roads. And together, pulling together, this is a shared responsibility. We should also be able to manage this challenge. Thank you.
And of course, many thanks to the European Union.
Oh, sure.
Yes, for making Salama Barabarani a possible campaign. We hope to also host them very soon.
Oh, sure. I think this month, maybe sometime next week or the other week, we'll be having a national conference on road safety. It's coming up. So we'll be inviting everybody. Please come and also just share with us what you think would be the best strategy to address this challenge.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Remember, you're part of the conversation, be part of the solution, because if you're not, then you are consistently part of the problem. From me, Anki Dorisambat, we end the Arrive Alive segment. There will always be bits of it on YouTube. If you've missed it, we'll also replay it. And if you need more of these conversations, the public demand will, of course, gear us to more of them. Allow me to take a short breather. We come in with the big conversation, and this is something you cannot run away